Part 1. The UK's National Security Context. This session is going to cover the UK's national security context, the UK's current national security strategy and its three national security objectives, the UK and global security challenges, and the UK's full spectrum approach. We will begin by discussing the UK's national security context. The first question you probably want to ask is, what is the UK? Now, the UK is a state. This means it has a permanent population, government and territory, and is generally recognised by other states. Now, to a high degree, our security is going to depend on our relationship with other nation states. We also have to consider international corporations and non-state armed groups. They are going to have an impact as well. The UK's national security context can, of course, change. For example, for much of the 20th century, the biggest threat to national security stemmed from the Cold War. Britain's chief concern was the threat posed by the Soviet Union's forces, and critically its nuclear armaments. To counter this threat, the UK allied itself with like-minded nations and prioritised acquiring its own nuclear deterrent. Now, of course, the Cold War is over, and the UK confronts a global security environment that is arguably more complicated. If the UK is going to survive and prosper, it needs to address issues like international terrorism and threats to the environment, as well as engaging with emerging technologies. Engaging with space and cyber warfare are likely to be particularly important priorities. We will now address the UK's current national security strategy and its three national security objectives. The UK has naturally taken note of the complex modern security environment and, consistent with the wide-ranging challenges, has articulated three key goals: to protect the UK and its people, project the UK's influence across the globe, and to promote the UK's prosperity at home and abroad. Protect relates to defending the UK's mainland and its people from physical threats, not just other states, but also terrorism and extremism, cyber attacks, and serious organised crime. It is particularly important to think about the form that future threats may take. National security strategy emphasises the importance of maintaining a global expeditionary force capable of deploying anywhere in the world, a key acknowledgement of the global challenges we face. This section also sets out the importance of maintaining a nuclear deterrent into the future. Projecting the UK's influence is all about soft power and how we can use it. This means promoting our values and interests as well as upholding the global order. Maintaining our security often means dealing with challenges before they become threats. The UK can use its diplomatic influence and reputation to accomplish this. Of course, defence engagement has a role to play here. Finally, we have promoting the UK's economy. This objective prioritises economic security rather than the traditional military and political security we talked about first. This indicates that today, security is more than physical safety. A strong economy provides the UK with a secure environment, it attracts investment, and drives the innovation and research that is central to securing our nation into the future. Militaries, of course, cost money as well. If we're going to compete on the world stage, it is important that the economy is secure. Now, we will discuss the UK and global security challenges. What do we mean by global security challenges? In some ways, the world is getting smaller, so we talk about global security threats as much as national ones. In order to achieve security, we need to consider the world beyond Britain's borders, working with regional and global allies and often operating at considerable distances. Global security challenges require a global effort. Climate change is a good example, in that it is difficult to address unless every nation takes action. Many of our strategic adversaries are far away as well. We will need to work with regional partners to help overcome this challenge. Facing global challenges requires global capabilities. Now that's something to consider. Of course, you may as well ask what we mean by security. Security is ever changing, though it's generally expanding as a concept. Whilst once we would have talked about threats in a national and military sense, today there is a lot more to consider. Climate change, migration, and threats to our economy. Security can be thought of as anything that might adversely impact the welfare of the UK and its people. Improving conditions in the UK means global engagement. You have to confront challenges and build a more stable world in which the UK can pursue its economic interests. Naturally, this is by no means an easy challenge when you consider the breadth and nature of the problems we face. Confronting global security challenges is not something that can be done alone. It may require working in concert with other developed and powerful nations, or partnering with local forces involved in a complex conflict. You would be right to think that it's not all about military force. There will be instances in which other forms of power might be more appropriate. Alongside more conventional operations, this may mean deploying in support of humanitarian missions, or even flying the flag around the world. The wide-ranging nature of threats does of course present a challenge. There is going to be a need for the UK to remain flexible moving forward. It is perhaps most important that we work alongside other nations in creating global security. Now finally, we are going to talk about the UK's full spectrum approach and what it means for our security moving forward. You may have noticed that we live in an increasingly globalised and interconnected world. Many security challenges are complex and require a combination of different resources to address. A full spectrum approach means recognising the different powers that the UK has available and using them in combination to achieve a desirable result. The spectrum is a useful idea. If diplomatic and economic approaches don't achieve results, then there is always the option of escalating to a more direct military response if needed. Of course, strategic adversaries also have different ways of engaging with the UK. It is important to keep this in mind moving forward. Not all threats are going to be overtly military. To recap, we have covered the UK's national security context, the UK's current national security strategy and 3 national security objectives, the UK and global security challenges, and finally, the UK's full spectrum approach. There are some final questions I would like you to consider. Firstly, why is security a contested subject? Do we still think about security purely in military terms and in terms of our national interest? Or are there other aspects to the security problem that we also need to consider? Is security getting to be more complex? If so, why is this the case? Next, I would like you to think about how security might have changed since 1989. There is a tendency to look back on the Cold War as a simpler time. After all, the UK's national security context was mainly concerned with the threat of Russia's conventional forces and its nuclear arsenal. What is different about the challenges we face today? This brings us to the end of our session on the UK's national security context. Please look below for the sources that we used putting this video together. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.